explain a conduct, and that is why in competition law we have a rule of origin. And rule of origin means you can always give a reason to explain a particular conduct or justify a conduct. And this reason can vary depending on circumstances. One conduct can be appreciated in one circumstance, can be deprecated in another. These two opposite conducts can invite the same outcome. And as is told in Indian context, everything its opposite is true in India. And in competition law, we are more familiar with the word price. In fact, the competition law, like a cynic, it knows the price of everything, value of nothing. And if I give an anecdote that three delinquents were comparing their notes as to why they have earned the wrath of the competition commission, one of them says that I charged a price which is lower than the price everybody else was charging, and I have been accused of predatory pricing, killing competition. The other guy says that I have been accused of charging excessive price, I have been accused of profiteering, unfair pricing. And the third guy says that I have been accused of charging the very same price which everybody else was charging, and I have been accused of cartelization. So we can have explanation for every conduct. Let me conclude it here in the interest of time, and let the organizers take over. Thank you.
Heartiest vote of thanks to the eminent speakers for the first technical session, Mr. M.S. Sahu, Honorable Member of the CCI, Mr. G.R. Bhatia, Mr. M.M. Sharma, and a special thanks to Mr. P.K. Mittalji also. And now I would request Mr. M.S. Sahu to present a green certificate to Mr. G.R. Bhatia. Chair. I request Mr. H.S. Grover to come and present a green certificate to Mr. M.M. Sharma. Thank you very much. Now we will proceed for the second technical session. The speakers are with us. UK Chaudhary. Now I would request Mr. Satwinder ji to present a flower bouquet to Mr. Surendra. Mr. UK Chaudhary needs no introduction. He is a BSc, LLB, a fellow member and the past president of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He is a prominent corporate lawyer practicing in the Supreme Court for more than 20 years. The list is very long, the profile is very long, but being paucity of time, I am just cut shorting this. Now I will request Mr. Chaudhary to come forward and present his address. Thank you.
To address by sitting, otherwise always we say that I am on my legs. Thankfully for you that one speaker is missing. So the operation, the unfairness, the dominance and the combination is highly reduced. I'll make only 2 points before I hand over for detailed discussion and the address. Number one, it has been always our vision, including mine, that other than the company secretaries being the compliance officers, and in-house advisors, we always visioned them to be the larger corporate advisors to all the corporates. Not in-house, but outside. Therefore, it requires nobody to encourage them to practice in the areas of competition law, or for that purpose any other branch of law, or any other branch of the corporate advisory work. And at least I know for myself that the training, the curriculum, the course, the guidance which has come over the period of years from the Central Council and the regional councils has been more than adequate to equip them with all kind of skill, knowledge, expertise, courage, and even the aptitude to stand by the side of all the corporate professionals in this country. Number two, that the unfairness which you have heard since morning is an unfairness of as defined in the law. But unfairness in this country, particularly with so much of competition going on because of the increased population, which unfortunately nobody is speaking about. The unfairness is of two kinds. Unfairness, which is in the law, which comes regulated by the law. There is another kind of unfairness which has seeped in. That is the unfairness in character. Unfairness in conduct. Unfairness the way we treat each other. Unfairness the way we move around in the society. Unfairness the way we sell our products in the streets. Unfairness the way we deal with our own human beings inside and outside our offices. According to me, please mind that this is the most critical part, that the second kind of unfairness for which there is no regulation. You have to do something about it, whether you practice in the competition law or not, but practice that the unfairness in your conduct, in your character, in your dealing, that you try to reduce at as many places as possible. I'll come back to this topic in the end, except till I hear my co-panelist and the speaker. So I hand over the mic to him with only request that we were supposed to close this session by 1:30, but since we have already started about 45 minutes late, I request him that he should not take more than 20 minutes. Then I sum up in 5 minutes and we close this session with 25 minutes to maximum 30 minutes. I will not like to extend this session at least more than 30 minutes. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Also a fellow of CUT Center of Competition, Investment and Economic Regulation. He has served Consumer Guidance Society of India as General Secretary, Vice Chairman and Chairman. He has also served on Governing Council of Consumer International. Now I request Mr. Kantia to come and present his address.
Let's go by the law of averages. I would take not more than 15 minutes. And again, I am thankful to ICSI, NIRC in general, and Mr. Chawla in particular for giving me this opportunity to be with you and exchange some notes on this topic, which is for me a kind of passion. I would skip a number of slides. This is how the whole mechanism operates. We have the Competition Commission of India, which can be termed as the court of first instance. Then we have Competition Appellate Tribunal, and on the top we have the Supreme Court. What is in store for us? For us, when I say for us, it's the practicing company secretaries or the company secretaries in employment. There are specific references in the law itself. Under MRTP Act, the recognition was given to the practitioners through the rules. Here we have section 35 and section 53 capital S, which specifically authorizes few categories of professionals, and a company secretary is one of them. A company secretary in practice along with the practicing chartered accountants, practicing cost accountants, and the practicing advocates is allowed to appear before the commission as well as the tribunal. A company secretary is also eligible to join the Competition Commission of India as a member or chairman, or the Competition Appellate Tribunal as a member. The criteria are given in the relevant rules. A company secretary with 15 plus years, or rather I would say anyone with 15 plus years experience in the field of commerce or management or public administration or law or international trade or economics is eligible to be appointed as a member of the commission. A professional or a person with 25 plus years in the same areas of activities, namely again to repeat management or law, international trade or economics or management, is eligible to be appointed as a member of the tribunal. We, the company secretaries with 15 plus years experience or 20 plus years experience are eligible to apply for these positions. And we also have a set of regulations drafted by the commission. It's known as the CCI procedure for engagement of experts and professional regulations 2009. These regulations empower the commission to appoint professionals and experts. There is a list of category of professionals which is given in these regulations, and the membership of ICSI is one of those recognized categories. And therefore, company secretary, if he otherwise complies with the relevant norms, is eligible to be appointed in this particular category as well. This is how the whole act operates. We have already got overview from the previous two learned speakers. I would try to avoid the repetition, but wherever it's mandatory, it is. Agreements broadly to be divided into two categories. Section 3 bracket 3 talks of 4 categories of clauses in the agreements, which are termed generally as horizontal agreements presumed to be anti-competitive, relating to price fixing, market sharing, limiting production or collusive biddings. Whereas we also have vertical agreements where we have again section 3 bracket 4 talking of specific set of areas. If they are found in the agreement, it can be taken as anti-competitive. It's to be proven. It's to be proven on the basis of the rule of reason test given under section 19 bracket 3. There are 6 parameters given there, 3 positive, 3 negatives, and on application of these 6 parameters, vertical agreement or horizontal agreement not falling in those 4 brackets can be proven to be anti-competitive. But again, by the way, it's interesting to note that whatever horizontal agreements which have been penalized under section 27 of the Act by the Commission, they have applied parameters given under section 19 bracket 3 also, so as to make it look genuine application of the relevant provisions of the law. Now, what is a role for us? Mr. Bhatia has explained in greater detail. The company secretaries, again, here company secretaries be in employment or in practice can advise their clients or advise their management on specific areas like manner of exchange of information within the trade bodies as to how information are required to exchange, especially the economic data, with reference to the formation of joint ventures, the sharing of holding of share capital in the sectors, with reference to cross holdings. A person who is a director in 2 competing enterprises may result into a scenario where both the enterprises can be termed as a kind of combination or acting as a horizontal agreement, or communication with regard to the pricing, with regard to markets, with regard to technical developments, etc., are to be clearly explained to the people, as Mr. Bhatia suggested, especially to the people working at the lower level of the organization. A person working in purchase department or sales department may not be aware of the operations of the competition law, and therefore he may exchange mails with the competitors talking about these areas which are otherwise prohibited under section 3 bracket 3. So that's where again company secretary in employment especially has a role to play, to tell people that they should not